when you take the works of Dike and whatever means and media he has come to use to propagate the ideas of a united front, one Nigeria, and a detribalized country, you get to understand how far-reaching this can ordinarily be. If you take, for instance, his poem Okwesilieze and the magic in that particular realm, in that particular ways of doing things, you'll be you'll be blown away by the sheer genius in his ways of thinking, the sheer way in which he ordinarily wants to see to it that the world becomes a better place, that the world continues to function and flourish the way it ordinarily has not come to live up to. And so you find him saying, "Today I saw a mysterious thing, a thing that vexed me to my very soul. I saw the black man dressed like a king, but crouching in the shadows with a begging bowl. His children were starving in fields of cassava, dying of diseases the palm kernel could cure, homeless in the land of rock and timber. Why are you here?" He said, "I am poor." When you look at these lines, there are very few lines, but then they are packed with a whole lot of meaning. What was he thinking when he was writing this? Is a thing sometimes I've sat down and I've asked myself, what was DK actually thinking when he came up to compose that particular stuff? Definitely he was thinking about his immediate environment, his life in Nigeria, his life as a youngster born into a continent that has refused to grow, be it by will of its by the fact of its own sheer resistance or by external forces. But he was born around this period, and he ordinarily wants to see how things can get better. And then he continues, "Today I saw a mysterious thing, a thing that vexed me to my very soul. Saw the black man dressed like a king, but he was lying in the dust crying at my feet. His legs were sturdy like the Iroko, his forests were rich and teeming with games, his muscles they ripple like the proud Zambezi. Told him, 'Get up,' but he said, 'I am lame.'" But how can a man with such qualities, with such resilience in his life be considered lame? How can such a man call himself a lame man? He has legs as sturdy as the Iroko, his forests were rich and teeming with games, his muscles they ripple like the proud Zambezi. And so one begins to see the confusion in DK's head as to why is it the case that a man with so much potential is at the same time not functioning well. He explains it in the next stanza. In the next stanza of his poem, he gets to talk about how a man can consider himself trapped, even when a man should ordinarily shouldn't be trapped. "Today I saw a mysterious thing. Oh, how can I tell such a horrible story? Today I saw a mysterious thing, a wonder so great I cannot tell it. Saw the black man dressed like a king, but he was standing like the lost by the highway. He huddles in a cage that had no gate. He could see where the keys to his chains were kept. He stood on clamps, but they had no weight. Why are you here?" He said, "I am trapped. Today I saw a mysterious thing. Oh, how can I tell such a horrible story? Saw the black man dressed like a king, but he was sharing a sleeping mat with poverty. His poverty was a fat man with a bulge in his stomach, lying on his back beside a pot full of treasures. This reality was all he seemed to lack, that he could wake up and make his own future." And while this might probably be talking about DK's current environment, DK's current continent, one can share in the resilience, in the philosophy, in the ways of thinking of such a work. And so you get to see that it cuts across different edge, it cuts across different places, it cuts across different people, it cuts across different landscape and different realities. It can have meaning to you in your marriage, it can have meaning to you in your family life, in your studies, in your relationship with people. The poem goes far beyond the immediate. It goes to also talk about the current situations we're having in our world, where right in the face of evidence, we get to deny a whole lot of stuff. As such, we see the beauty in the ability to preserve materials in written form. For me to have dialogues with Dike Chukwumerije. Dike Chukwumerije is an elder brother I respect so much in the literary landscape, and I admire him, and he knows I admire him, and I don't hide that. And like Chimamanda would say, I admire Dike openly, and the body of work that has come down to be his is a bedrock for a whole lot of Nigerians to look out for. Not just Nigerians, people across the world, and people in the near future also would also benefit from his work. And I believe his works would come down to be one of those timeless piece of material passed down to the next generation to bear witness as to what ordinarily has been the reality of us down here and the resilience we get to find.